We're so grateful to all of you who enjoyed our breakdowns of California's ballot props. You sent us some really good questions, so I'm just going to dive right in. Charles asked us, who wrote the propositions and who's paying for the advertising, both pro and con? Let me start with who's paying. California law requires political ads to show you major funders, but it can be easy to miss the fine print. So I'll just link you. Get out your phone, point your camera right there. This is going to take you to a website from the Fair Political Practices Commission. It's a little bit clunky, but just scroll down till you see top contributor lists, tap the second link, and you'll see the top 10 donors for and against each ballot question. Your question also asked who wrote the props. We don't get to know for sure. The campaigns don't have to tell us the author's name, but somebody does have to submit every prop, and we do get to see that. On that same website, under each prop number is a link to a PDF file. Click that and you'll see the actual paperwork filed with the state to submit the proposition. Now this ties into our next question, which comes up because of Prop 29, which would crack down on kidney dialysis clinics. Susan asks, why is the same prop brought up to a vote when it was already voted on previously? Now Prop 29 is super similar, but not the exact same language as the two props before it about dialysis, which Californians already voted down the last two elections. Regardless, California law doesn't care. If you get enough signatures to put your prop on the ballot, we vote on it. And in this case, that's apparently become at least something of an effective weapon in a fight between a union and the dialysis clinics. If nothing else, it's caused the clinic owners to spend tens of millions of dollars defending their current business model. Along those lines, here's another question I get a lot. Can I skip voting on some of these? Yes, it's perfectly legal to skip a race on your ballot. That's called undervoting. Maybe you just don't have an opinion about one of the props. Maybe you look at two candidates and think, ugh, they're both terrible. You can skip any vote you want. You won't get in trouble. It won't invalidate your ballot. It just means that everyone else is going to make that decision except you. You have until November 8th to make your decisions. If you've already got your ballot, be sure to get it in by then. If you didn't, you can still register and vote in person up until Election Day. We've gotten a lot of really good questions from people watching our ballot proposition videos. An anonymous viewer had this comment on our video about Prop 1. Why won't you mention that this proposition has no language restricting late-term abortions in California? The short answer is our videos focus on the things that are in the props, not the things they don't do. This is an argument from the No campaign on Prop 1, who say it would legalize late-term abortions. But it's a speculative argument. Prop 1 itself does not legalize late-term abortions. California already has statutory laws banning abortions after viability. That's around week 24 of a pregnancy. By making access to abortion a fundamental right in the state constitution, opponents are arguing Prop 1 could undo those limits. They theorize that a lawsuit could cause a court to strike down the existing laws that limit when abortions can happen. Is that possible? Theoretically, yeah. Is it certain to happen? No, not at all. Our state constitution gives us all kinds of rights that are limited by other laws in our state statutes. Our right to read government records, for instance. All that may be more than most voters need to decide whether they're going to be for or against Prop 1, but if you are on the fence because of this, I hope that information helps. Clemmy also asked us, can you let us know what the immediate and future impact of Proposition 30 would be if it were to pass? As we explained, Prop 30 is a new higher income tax rate on income over $2 million a year. The new tax would apply to next year's income, that's the 2023 tax year, and it would go on for another 20 years. It's supposed to raise at least a few $billions a year for the state. As we explained, some goes to fighting and preventing wildfires, and it would be a sizable increase to that spending, but most of the money would pay for zero-emission vehicles. California does already have regulations to phase out the sale of new gasoline cars and light trucks by the year 2035. The ban on gas cars, if it sticks, is expected to put a whole lot more electric and hydrogen cars on the road anyway. Now, Prop 30 could speed that up, but the main effect, per the state analysts, would be to change who pays. Wealthy taxpayers would be subsidizing cleaner cars for people, businesses, and government, and also subsidizing charging stations. There is also a state budget impact to Prop 30. Up to $3 billion a year of its spending would count towards the state's annual spending limit. Now, this is wonky, but it's important. It means that in years when state lawmakers max out the budget, they may have to cut other state priorities to make room for the spending in Prop 30. Thanks so much for all your questions and comments. Please keep them coming. Remember, Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. Get your ballot in by then.